Kia ora koutou, Michael Hollis here on Mike at the Mic, brought to you by Charcoal Chicken. It's a pleasure to have your company on this beautiful day here in Turanga. And as you would have known a few weeks back, some teams here in Te Tairāwhiti, here in Turanga entered into the 48-hour movie-making competition while we were still in lockdown. And on the weekend just gone, TV2 premiered and showed the finalists and also the winning film. And my family and I in our bubble, we were watching the films and we were very entertained and we loved every single one of them. And on the line right now, we have the winner of this year's 48-hour movie-making competition, the Lockdown Edition, Sam Harrison. He's on the line at the moment. Kia ora, Sam.
Kia ora, Mike. Thanks for having me.
It's awesome to have you on the line at the moment. First and foremost, congratulations on winning the very first 48-hour movie-making competition, the lockdown version of it. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's been pretty massive. It was definitely way more than I ever expected.
So how long have you been competing in the 48-hour movie-making competition? Because this year was a little bit different because we were in lockdown. We were stuck in our own bubbles. But every previous year we've had a 48-hour movie-making competition. How long have you been doing it for?
I'm a bit of a veteran, really. I've been doing it for, I think 12 years. And I think the competition itself has been going for about 14 years. So, yeah, almost since the beginning.
Have you been competing in the same region every year?
No, mostly from Wellington. I did enter from Christchurch one year, and a couple of years I was actually overseas. I was living in London, and I was able to compete remotely.
And so we here in Gisborne on the East Coast, we've had the competition here not as long as you've been competing, maybe about 12 years here in our region. And there's so many people who are passionate about making films here on the East Coast here in Te Tairāwhiti. How long have you been passionate about making films?
Since day zero, really. When I was a little kid, I used to get my family camcorder and make little animations with Play-Doh and stuff. It's just, it's always been a fascination of mine. I guess we're just lucky now that we're in an age where technology has made it so accessible for everyone.
And what was it like? What was the feeling like when it was announced on Channel 2 that your film had won the 48-hour movie-making competition?
It's not something I expected even a little bit. I actually did a little bit of work for the festival, so I know some of the organisers, and they had they have great poker faces, let's put it that way, because I had absolutely no idea that I was in the finals, let alone that I'd won the whole thing. And my flatmate was, she did one of the voices in the film. She was recording the whole thing, and I think I screamed and swore a lot because it was, just completely blindsided me.
Now, in previous years, obviously, we haven't had with COVID-19 and the pandemic that we're unfortunately struck down with right now. We haven't been in lockdown, and in previous years, you could travel around and you could film in different locations, and you can have multiple people come in to be part of your film, whether it's catering, acting, directing, lighting. This year was a little bit different because we had to stay in our own bubbles. How difficult did you find it doing a film in your own bubble?
It actually wasn't at all any more difficult, Mike. Because I do animation, it was really just par for the course, really. It looks no different than it did the previous year. I had a lot of fun watching the other finalists who weren't doing animation, who were doing live action, and watching the really creative things people could do. You actually forget after a while that you're just watching films that were just shot in one location or in one person's house, just because these people tell stories that have these massive scopes. Even though they're only filming in their house in their backyard or whatever, you forget about that. Now,
what's the closest that you've been to winning in previous years?
I have made the grand final a couple of times. That was usually by means of a wild card or something. One time I got wild carded by Peter Jackson. He picks a couple of his favorites a year and they get put through to the finals. I've come close. But to be honest, I kind of thought I would have that sort of always a bridesmaid, never a bride thing going on. And I would always do kind of well, but I never thought that I would take the whole thing. Because I don't know if you've seen my films, but they're pretty dumb. They're real silly little things.
Well, don't say that, because when I was watching your film, and I've seen some of the other ones from the past, I get a bit of a Futurama and a Rick and Morty kind of vibe. Do you have any inspiration or any other animated films or series that you call upon, that you pay homage to?
Yeah, absolutely. Things like Rick and Morty and Futurama, Simpsons. Obviously, I'm a big old school Simpsons fan. I love like the old classics. I love the old Warner Brothers Looney Tunes. I love Ren and Stimpy actually. Ren and Stimpy's a big John Crispolucci's a big inspiration to me. Just to be able to do a drawing which just makes you laugh just looking at the drawing. It doesn't even have to move or do anything. Like that's kind of what I inspire to.
Stimpy. Oh, yeah, I've been a big fan of anime. If you need a voice actor, I'm right here in Gisborne. But Sam, for people out there who are keen to get into making films, especially animated or claymation or anything like that, what's some advice you can give to them?
Nothing's stopping you, really. Like I said, we live in an amazing time right now where education and software is like cheap to free. Like you can get like tutorials that are perfect and as good as any school for barely anything on the internet. You don't need to buy expensive software suites. You can, I know people who make amazing cartoons with software that's completely free to download. So I would say just get stuck in and just make stuff, and don't be too critical of yourself at the start. Start wherever you can and try to get support from the online communities, because there's lots of great communities on Reddit and Facebook and stuff which will give you feedback and give you notes and give you the information that you need to develop your art.
And now, what kind of computer do you use to create the wonderful animated films that you've made in the past, and the one that won you the 48-hour competition?
I've been doing this a while, so I've built up a little bit of gear. This year, I actually did things a little bit differently. I normally use After Effects, which is a little bit cheating. It kind of does a lot of the work for you. It's like more like a puppet show than it is kind of classic animation. You sort of draw a character once and then puppet it around the screen. But this year I mixed it up and I got a graphics tablet and I actually drew every frame individually, which is a lot more work. And I can't draw all that well. Like my drawings are a bit scrappy, but I actually love the way that it looks this year. I think it's just way more full of life than my other stuff. So yeah, it was an interesting experiment, and I'll probably try to develop it a bit further.
Now, have you got any goals and aspirations for yourself moving ahead when it comes to creating films?
Yeah, right now I do animation for a job, but it's more kind of things for corporations and advertisements and things. So I would love to work on a TV show for entertainment. I'd love to make content that people actually want to watch rather than content that's kind of thrust upon people, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other advice or kōrero that you'd like to share for the people out there to encourage them to pursue this kind of work?
I would say that people who are creatives are usually quite generous with their knowledge and stuff. So just if there's a creator that you admire, just get in touch. They'll probably give you feedback and they'll probably answer your calls and things. I know going back to John Crispolucci, the creator of Ren and Stimpy, he's famous for answering every single one of his fans' letters with sometimes 3 or 4 pages of really helpful advice. So yeah, I would say get the help that you need from the community.
Well, speaking about community, if you ever get on Rick and Morty, can you give me Dan Harmon's autograph too? I'm a big fan of that. Anyways, good luck. And is there any kind of ultimate dream that you'd like to aspire to get to? Something like Pixar or Disney or anything like that? Is there anything that you would love to you'd love to strive towards?
Yeah, I'd love to work on a primetime animated cartoon, like Rick and Morty or BoJack Horseman or something like that. No, maybe not BoJack because I don't think that's going anymore. But yeah, I guess that's probably my dream.
You got some fantastic recommendations for anyone who wants to look for any animation on either Disney or Netflix. Sam, thank you for your time and good luck for the future and congratulations. We got Rob Ruha songs coming your way here on Turanga FM because it's Legends Monday. We're playing songs from Legends. And for your information, Rob Ruha was on Turanga FM a couple of weeks back, and we asked him what are his favourite animated shows, and he said Avatar, The Last Airbender, and also Dragon Prince, which is on Netflix, which I recommend for anyone out there. Dragon Prince is one of my favourite animated TV shows from the last couple of years. Hoi anō koutou katoa. Rob Ruha with the song Witch Doctor coming your way here on Mike at the Mic.